Hi everyone, my name is Emily Jane Akery.
And my name is Adam Price.
And you're listening to the Relative Rhythms Podcast.
Today we are excited to introduce to you tap dancer Vuyo Mdingi and percussionist Sifiso Maseko, two founding members of the South African group Tapcussionist Triad.
Hailing from Johannesburg, the group, along with bassist Sipho Dlamini, has already gained international recognition and toured extensively, bringing their unique musical approach to audiences all over Africa.
Vuyo takes Black American tap dance, brings it back to Africa, and infuses it with the rhythms and stories of his own culture and homeland. Both Vuyo and Sifiso are extremely intentional about using tap as a musical instrument, composing music where each percussionist gets equal musical importance and shares in the spotlight.
We discuss the tap dance scene in South Africa, the many languages, ethnic backgrounds, and musical traditions in the country, as well as their approach to collaborative musical composition.
Please welcome to the podcast Vuyo Mdingi and Sifiso Maseko. All right, Vuyo and Sifiso, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Adam. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on. We're so excited to have this conversation with you guys.
So we usually start by asking our guests how they first came to their art form. So Vuyo, why don't you start? How did you first start tap dancing? Where did that come from?
So I started as a traditional dancer. So there's a traditional dance they call indlamu, which is a Zulu dance. So I was introduced to that in primary school. This was around maybe 98. Yeah, 98, 97. I think I was born to be an artist because back then we didn't know what an artist was. So by the year 2000, when I went to higher primary, I saw this magical thing from these guys, But every time I wanted to learn, I would not get them due to some reasons because they would have to go perform somewhere or they were busy. So I had to wait for I think 3 or 6 months until I got into their class. I didn't know what tap dance was. I don't want to lie. We didn't have any history videos or any history lessons. So for a lot of us, even to this day, when a person tap dances in South Africa, a lot of people are always shocked. What is this guy doing? What is this? So we didn't have a lot of history, and we still don't have that much history till to this day. But I started tap dancing in the year 2000. I was in grade 5, I think, yeah.
Wow.
And then I fell in love with tap dancing. I just concentrated on tap dancing. Yes, I from Zulu dance, you play drums, those traditional drums. You would perform as a Zulu dancer. And the love of music grew from that. So hence, I think I was drawn to the rhythms of tap dancing. So from year 2000, I got tap dancing lessons from these guys. So these guys were taught by an old man. This old man was called Nathaniel Blangwe. He doesn't have much history. He's not in the history books. We've tried to search his history. We went to his family, but we didn't, get that much history. So I told myself, let me just learn the art form, and the rest I'll just learn as I grow. In the class, I became one of the prominent people who would understand tap dancing. So when we started, we were 50 of us in school. But
Wow.
As time went by, people lost interest, and then there were 20 of us until 10 of us. And then the 10 of us pushed until high school. So we would enter competitions, we'd have school competitions, choir competitions, and then they would feature our group as, these 10 young guys who are tap dancing. And then
So cool.
we pushed. I matriculated in 2008. Yeah, 2008. And then after that, I became the only person out of that group who was, who had the passion for tap dancing. And then 2008, I got gigs here and there until I met Sifiso. So Sifiso is a percussionist, and from hearing how he plays and for the love of music that I had, and just basics of playing drums, I just threw to Sifiso because of how he played. I use a lot of my ear to listen than to watch videos and So I met Fiso right after that group because I was pushing alone. Fiso had this idea. So we were supposed to create this show. So Fiso had an idea whilst we were doing that show that why don't we do a piece where it's you and me? I'll play drums and then you'll be, a guy who's tap dancing. I was like, yeah, man, let's try that. Let's try that. And then we did that. We did a piece. I think it was long enough to be featured in that show. That show was a brainchild of Fiso and some other guys. So It was long enough to be featured. But because I didn't like to be the only tap dancer in the show, I had to speak for these older guys who taught me to be part of the show. So Fiso was like, no, I don't think it's a problem. You can bring them along. We can, maybe the show will grow. And it did grow. The show was called Isabelo, if I remember well. Nes Fiso.
Yeah, the show was called Isabel.
Yeah, Isabelo is, I think, what does Isabelo mean, Gonje? Is it a gift?
It's a gift, yes. Isabel, yes, it's a gift.
Yo, Sabelo it's a Zulu word that means a gift. So we featured these older guys. They were part of the show. And then we started, playing routines that they taught me. And then we brought them into the show and the show grew. But as a person who's always thinking about creating words and stuff, I said, man, look, Fiso, the history of tap dancing, when I learn and, look at videos, I always see, and they always tell us that tap dancing was created from the percussions. So why don't we try this word and fuse it? I have this idea. I'll bring tap, I'll take this word tap, and then I'll take the last part of percussion and then we'll use that. And then that's how Tapcussion was created. So of course, when you're a tap dancer, you're a percussionist, whether you like it or not, because you're playing drums, you're playing rhythms, there are so many things that you. So we wanted to explore that. And luckily, I had this guy, who's open minded, who's very creative, who would teach me a lot of rudiments from, percussion. So I was like,
cool.
This is a guy I'm going to stick with. But because I don't want to say percussion and tap dance are limited due to the fact that you're using your hands and your feet and you don't have musical notes. But we wanted to explore music as a whole. So how can we do this? And Fiso was like, no, I know this guy. He's a bassist. He's the third guy in our group. He's a bassist, and I love bass. I love music, but I love to learn bass. If I had a chance, I'd really, really love to learn that instrument. So he brought that guy. And that opened a world of wonders for us because, from the rhythms that we have, we would create those rhythms. But Sipo, the bassist, would put in his, musical genius in what we have. And that would open like a world of wonders for us. And then that's how the trio was created. From the two of us, from the Tapcussionist guys, which is me and Fiso, we added this guy, we're bassist, and that's how the trio was created. Yeah.
Nice. Sifiso, how about you? When did you start playing percussion?
Well, my story is very different. So my story actually started in 1998. I knew nothing about arts. I knew nothing about instrument, about music, or anything. So when you're a kid, you always go out and play, no matter what the place is. So there was a center by my house. So it was called Ipelecheng Community Center. but it was changed to an art center. So this guy called us because we used to go there after school to go play. And when we're there, we're going to see people dancing and what. And the guy took us and he taught us how to play. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a gambut dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So that's where I started. And after that, if you can able to play the gambut, then you were taken to another level. So we introduced you to something different. And my love for percussion started there. And we were really taught how to play. And you can imagine it was for free. And who will stop learning an instrument, not paying for it? And we grew up and we were introduced to performances, and you have to perform for a larger number, and people will love what you're doing. And then you started performing, started creating more. And then later on, I stopped and I wanted to start something what's my own. Because in South Africa, if you are being recognized, you'll perform with anyone. Yeah, including yourself, different artists, celebrities, and but so not. And yeah, that's why my story is just it's just moving because I don't even remember the years. And today I'm here with Vuyo and created something it's special for us. And if I can count the people I worked with, and I've also traveled at a very young age with the instrument, because first it was a djembe before I was introduced to different drums, congas. And then fast forward, it was me having this idea, because I met Vuyo through a project that I was doing. And I think his sense of talent with his feet, I saw myself in him because I'm using my hands and he's using his feet. I was like, whatever I'm doing, Vuyo, you're doing it with your feet. And you can do something that's out of this world. That's very extraordinary. But along the way, while we were doing it, something that was missing on what we were doing. And we'll sing whatever instrument while we're both rehearsing, whatever. So but it doesn't make sense to us because it's like I'm doing what you're doing with your feet. So if you can add one element of music, which can be a guitar, it can be a voice, but we decided to choose a bass guitar. And when we met the guy, the whole idea shifted. And now it made a lot of sense to call it, but we still stuck with the word percussionist, which is tap and the percussion. So we never included the bass side. So, but when you look at our bio, it's there. We had to edit. But we couldn't say Tapcussionist bass. No, it didn't make sense to us. So for us to move, I think we came with the name Triad because it's three of us. It gave us, when I say Triad, it's three sides actually to this music. So it explained me, Vuyo, and the bass guy. And I tell you that the first time we met and we sat down, Vuyo started playing with his feet. Then it was me, then the guy at melodies, harmonies. It made a lot of sense to us. And since day one, we've been actually us, the three of us. Our main is to explore while we have these three sides. So our exploration is to feature different artists. We still try it, but when we perform outside, it's an ensemble. So since then, the name still aligns to us. The name still has our ideas. The name still has the authenticity of us, the brain and the creativity side.
Cool.
I'm so curious about when you get together, the three of you, the triad. Is it mostly all improvised, or do you start from some base of like a music that you know, or a composition you know, or do you improvise and then set compositions? How do you create your show? Do you pull from different pieces of your life and music, or is it all created?
I'll take this question. So actually, our minds, they're very, very different because we come from different experiences. So I've got my own experience. Vuyo got his own experience, and the guy Sipo that plays the bass got his own experience. So because of I'm more, no, I can't say more musical because I've learned music, and I'm still learning even now. And uh, more or less, me and Vuyo were the same, right? Because it's more rudiment, rhythms, and all that. But our creative side, Vuyo can come up with something. Maybe we can take a rhythm from Vuyo's feet and say, okay, let's figure out what we can add on top of what you're doing. And then maybe I put a percussion or the bass comes after. And then the nice part about us, because the three of us, we're very clinical when we do our composition. We don't just play and say, no, it's by ear, or we're just gonna improvise. No. Everything needs to be in line. If there's a bridge, we must create a bridge. If Vuyo needs to call us, because we've put this thing on us that's a tap dance. To us, it's not a dance. It's part of the music. It's an instrument to us.
Yeah.
So it's not like if Vuyo is behind or is at front. Everything needs to be in a clump, in our triad, right? So yes. So when we create, we make sure it's not just about improvisation, but we create music.
So when you guys are performing, these are compositions you're performing, not live improvisations, correct?
Yeah.
It's our very composition. Yeah.
Yeah, but the part of improvising is always interesting because we would plan to play maybe 2 or 3 songs, but because you see the vibe where you at, you're inspired by the artist you meet there, and just something would come out of you. And they always know I just like to create something on the spot. So before we play those songs, maybe something we're gonna improvise on the stage, something, whether we sing or whether we start with shakers or whether with a different rhythm from tap dancing. So yes, we do have compositions, but for me, improvisation is always like it brings us to another composition, if I may say. So yeah, we do have compositions, but also we do improvise a lot.
Are you improvising within the composed form? Say like you have a composed song, are you improvising within that form, or are you just
No,
improvising
just out of yeah. As I've mentioned, I'll be inspired by the vibe we see, by the artist we wanted to work with, or just by anything right there. So
yeah,
it would be outside of the composition that we
gotcha.
have. Hence, we
Okay.
have a lot of unfinished compositions from improvisation. So we
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
go back and try to, spark it back. But you cannot. You only have spark once,
Mm.
and then we have to sit down because Sifiso has a musical background. He's able to read. He's able to write music, as well as the bassist guy Sipo. I didn't have that. I create from what I've learned because that old man did not go to school to let tap dance, and those guys after him and me as a third generation, we didn't have that privilege. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a privilege to have Sifiso in this trio and Sipo as well because there'll be there'll be these guys who say, okay, we see your improvisation, we see what you want to, do, but how can we approach it like this musically so that we can make it make sense more?
I'd love to know about so the history that we have of tap dance in the States is right. It was created out of slavery. It was created out of these rhythms, right? That have come from Africa and have come from, you know, all different cultures within Africa, and then kind of came and were created here, and then the drums were taken away from the slaves, and they kept creating rhythm in their bodies and their feet, and that's kind of how we look at our history of tap dance here in the States. And I'd love to know then how that then comes back to you, whether through these guys or what kind of historical connection you have with tap dance where you are living, and the connection you have of tap dance to your culture, because it is coming from you originally, right? Just by way of the States, essentially.
Okay. That's very interesting because that's actually the basis of Tapcussionist or Tapcussion, if I may say. So our thing as if I may say, as Africans, it's just drumming. It's just rhythm from drums. That's how we speak. Even the way we speak in our languages, you would, if one listens closely, you would hear rhythms from the drum. So, as much as I say we didn't document a lot of history of how we got tap dancing as South Africans. I don't want to say it's not there because I didn't dig that much. Maybe it's there. I have to dig in and just find out. But the basis of Tapcussion is to really show how tap dancing came from the drums and how do they relate. Because as you mentioned, when I look at the American tap history, it's so big that I'm always interested. I'm always glued in my phone to learn more because I want to know this history. And it seems like Americans have it and they know it and they have documented it from back then, from the Master Juvas to everyone they mentioned. So that is why we have this thing. But because we have Sifiso, who has this more knowledge in drumming, I always glue myself to him and ask him, how do you feel when you play this rhythm? What does it mean to you? And then I try to translate that into tap dancing as much as I hear the history of what he knows and what he plays. And obviously, Spook, when he brings in the music, obviously you are exposed to these notes, you're exposed to this, world of music, and you try to go back and think, how did these people communicate? Because with drumming is communication. So how did they think of when in the absence of drums, we would also continue using our feet? So I always try to go back in my mind, even though I was not there because I'm still young, but I always try to tap back and just feel, how did they feel when they replace the drum with their feet. So the basis of Tapcussion is that. But as Fiso mentioned, we don't wanna focus on that only. Hence, we wanna feature a lot of musicians because maybe we can learn a lot of things that they can bring into this, and it can be a bigger project.
And Sifiso, you said you were doing gumboot too, as well as learning the djembe and the congas and all of that. That was part of it too.
Yeah. Everything it's rhythm. It's music to me.
Yeah.
So it goes hand to hand. So gumboots, it's rhythm, it's stamping. It's similar to tap dance, but it's not, because this is why you need to do more, clap more, hit, then stamp. Yeah? But when it comes to the history of, because I always make comparison when it comes to the history. When I see Vuyo does tap dance, to me it's the same as there's a culture here at home. It's called Abatswana. So that dance, it's more into feet than they're using the whole body. So when Vuyo does the same, it's the same as it's feet, then it's rhythm on top. Then it has that comparison of both. And when it comes to rhythm, drums were used more into communication. So if you think of in olden days how we were situated, so my house would be here, then Vuyo's house would be 50 to 100 kilometers away from me. So I wouldn't walk to give Vuyo the information. So I have to play a rhythm that will go far as Vuyo. Then if Vuyo gets that rhythm, he will reply also with a certain rhythm and say, okay, Sifiso play this rhythm. It means there's something that's going on in his village. Or maybe there's a funeral. So rhythms were differentiated in different ways. So if you play a certain rhythm, like one, if there's a rhythm called a chola, it's in West Africa. So when you play it, it's you introducing yourself to them and say, I'm home, so welcome you with warm hands. So I'll play that rhythm and they will welcome you. So it's the same as what we're trying to do as the Triad. We're not trying to run away from our own history. So whatever Vuyo that does, we always take from different, because Vuyo is closer and my language, they are two different. So he's got his own, and I've got my own. So I do things in different ways. But there are things that they'll be similar. So Vuyo, your culture you do this, and my culture we do it. It means me and you still have that same thing, even if it's different. So in terms of what we trying to put out there, we still stuck on our own identity than trying to copy someone else. Like tap dance, it's there in America, and the way Vuyo does it, we make sure that it has our own footprint, it has our own signature also. So yeah.
Yeah, no, when you say that, remember South Africa has like 11 official languages, of which it's different cultures also.
Yeah.
So as I've mentioned before we recorded that, I'm half Xhosa and I'm half Tswana. A lot of my rhythms are taken from my paternal side, which is Tswana. That is why in my counting, most of the time I would do a 3/4 signature, time signature. This is what Tswanas use most of the time in their songs and in their rhythms. Is 3/4 or 6/8 most of the time. So I tap into that culture, even though, as I've mentioned, that I don't know my paternal side that deep. But because you're walking with this thing, it's in you. You are born by them. It just shows. It just emanates when you perform. And I've noticed that. It means I'm working with my paternal side more, and hence I've tried to develop this style of tap dancing, this side. Yes, I always check a lot of tap dancers in America. I'm always inspired by them. I always reach out, try to learn, ask questions. But as Fiso mentioned, you cannot run away from my identity. So when I learned from these American tap dancers, when I find out about the history and stuff, I always come back and try to infuse what they are teaching me with what I have here at home. And it just, gives, and it just, it gives something different. Hence, when we perform here in South Africa, we've performed in Tanzania and Nigeria, and they really connected with us because we didn't leave that element of, being Africans. So they related with us very much. So that's what we try to do. We don't run away. In fact, even if we try as much, as Fiso mentioned, we sit down, we want a bridge in some composition, we want a hook there, but always something African will pop out and we'll just let it, be, because we cannot run away from that. So I don't check a lot of tap dancers to elevate my style. I always check musicians. So that's how I get inspired. I check Sifiso, how he plays. I check a bassist. I check someone who sings. I check a lot of musicians so that I bring a different element into the culture of tap dancing than going back to check maybe the Nicholas brothers, of which they were amazing in their style. But to bring something different in this modern time, why don't I check different musicians and listen to how they play and try to bring it in tap dancing, try to bring it in Tapcussionist Triad, and have this. This is why we don't have limited songs. It's because we check a lot of musicians each and every time.
Relative Rhythms podcast and our conversation with Vuyo Mdingi and Sifiso Maseko of the South African group Tapcussionist Triad.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review wherever you are listening. And if you'd like to support our work, you can join our Patreon, where we catalog our full unedited episodes and share extra content, including unreleased music and videos. You can also check out our brand new store, where you can get Relative Rhythms merch. Pick up a t-shirt and show off your nerdiness. Go to relativerhythms.com.
Thanks for tuning in, and now back to our conversation with Vuyo and Sifiso.
I am a tap dancer. Was born and raised here in the States, and it is so different, such a different approach, which I find so interesting, right? So we are very much about, as Sifiso, you were saying, it's more about the rhythms he's creating, not so much his whole body, right? Whereas here in the States, it's more about, tends to be, that's generalization, but it tends to be more about mimicking shape, even shape with your feet, right? My shape, make sure visually my shape is the same as your shape, so I'm making the same sound, instead of what is the sound and how can I recreate the sound. It's picture, right? In some ways, I think that it inhibits us and thinking in terms of musically, then the creation of music. It kind of is inhibiting, because we're thinking more about the visual aspect and less about the musical aspect. So,
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
But ours, that's why Bruce did mention more of our compositional creation. That's why we never labeled Vuyo as a dancer, but we label him as a musician.
Yeah.
So he's part of the music. He's in the music, not outside the music. So we're not we're playing for him to dance to the music.
Right.
But he's part of the music. Yeah. Without him, there's no triad. Without him, there's no sound. Without him, there's nothing. There's no triad. So if he's not there, we can't do the cake. We can't do anything. We can't improvise. So yeah. So that's what I'm saying. With us, we tried to label him, but we couldn't. So yeah.
How do you feel with two percussionists, you being both percussionists, how do you feel you support each other or play off of each other? Or is one person sometimes taking a support role while the other person soars over top? Or are you both kind of moving together? Do you switch roles, or do you find yourself kind of in the same position?
I never thought of that. Will.
I don't know, but I would think it depends on the composition that we did, on the songs that we have. But obviously, when you're in a band, the biggest thing is to listen to each other. You cannot play over someone who is, unless it's a feeling that we get, out of improvisation. Obviously, we cannot control it because we don't know where it's taking us. So in that regard, maybe we would play simultaneously without, thinking if I have to, be at the background, support Sifiso, but in the compositions, we make it intentional for one percussionist out of the two of us to support or to be in the front. So we make it intentional. I don't know if it makes sense, because it's a composition. It's supposed to make sense. Yeah, so we do support, as percussionist in the triad, we do listen to each other. We do give each other space, and sometimes we just want to play simultaneously in this one song, especially when we improvise. We would have call and respond. We would have me supporting his solo and just hold this one beat, and vice versa, like that. So yeah, we do consider such things, especially when it's a composition. Yeah.
So I didn't realize you guys said that you guys are touring internationally now.
Yeah, we got this opportunity.
That's huge.
Yeah, no, we got it twice actually. But thanks to Sifiso and his, cunning way of trying to reach out, out there and, applying for funds, he's always like he's that paper guy. So we got this funding from our government, where Sifiso applied along with this colleague of his where he works. And fortunately we got that funding. And then we went to Tanzania first, right? Sifiso?
Yeah. We went to Tanzania.
Yeah, we went.
Wow.
No, actually, we the first one. No, we were invited at Bagamoyo before we got the. I think they saw us on Facebook, and then they invited us. There was a letter, guys. We'd love to guys see here to come here, but the problem was they wanted us to fund our trip. So you got an invitation, and they say you guys must pay for your flights, must pay for accommodation. I was like, that's not an invitation. If you guys want to invite us, you say, guys, okay, we're gonna meet you halfway on
Yeah,
your accommodation or
Right,
flights.
right.
exactly.
But on this one, it was a zero from their side.
Yeah.
But I said to Vuyo, this could be a great opportunity for us to go showcase what we have, because this thing is very unique. I've never seen anyone done this before, and if we can get one invite, it means we can travel the world. But in that sense, there was a call here at home. What they do every year, there's a call of groups, local groups. You can guys apply for funds, and if your application passes, then they'll give you money.
Mm-hmm.
So by luck, we did get that funds, and we said to the guys, listen, you guys are giving us zero, but we're gonna come with our 100%. We're gonna give you guys a workshop, then perform for you, and when we get there, we get a different experience where they've enjoyed and appreciated what we had. And I don't think I told you this, and they wanted us to come back this year, but now the approach is different. I said to them, we can't come for free. I know you guys, if you can't, it's come twice for free, no. So then they said they're going to reach out to your government, but they would really love us to come. And this time it's going to be longer. And also we are being invited to come to Botswana.
Wow.
And we're supposed to perform at, I don't know, it's the biggest festival here in South Africa, which happened this year. They also invited us, but this time, imagine your own government invites you for free, so you must. I was like, guys, no, we can't do this anymore. No, which is it's a big festival.
Yeah.
I said, guys, we would love to you guys to come here. I was like, no, we can't. And you can imagine you're in the posters. People know that you guys are coming. People bought tickets, but we had to say we can't. As you know, sometimes people don't respect the musicians. We're doing this out of. I know it's out of love, but at the end, it needs to at least
Yeah. Yeah.
elevate you.
Yeah.
It's really growing in a pace where we really appreciate it. Even though people don't understand what we're doing, but the nice part about it, actually, it's nice, but the sad part, when we get to the venues, we tend to make people don't believe what we were doing on stage, and they'll be amazed. Guys, where are you from? I said, we're from here in South Africa, but you guys were all the time. Where were you guys? I said, no, we're here. So if you guys want us, we can just come. So even here at the home, it's as much as we do this out of love, it's really hard to push, and it's really hard to be recognized.
Mm-hmm.
But the opportunities that we're getting, we make sure that we grab them with both hands, then we move. Like the tour we got in Tanzania.
Mm-hmm.
I think here at home, you're more appreciated outside than here. Unless you are, when you are a big celebrity, then they will consider you. So because it's our baby, we respect it, and we know our target, and we know where we're going with all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's very similar over here. No one ever wants to pay for music. They don't want to pay for musicians.
Oh.
It's like, oh, you guys can play for free, right? Yeah.
For the love of
Yeah,
it.
but also we are not saying because we're still trying to push this idea to be in our government mind. We're not saying we're not gonna honor any invitation that they give us. In actual fact, we have honored more invitations that do pro bono, and we are happy to do it, because it's for us, it's maybe we are the pioneers of this. Maybe a generation coming after us will be rewarded with whatever we're trying to, pay for them, of which is not a problem. But I think meeting us halfway, as a government, meeting us halfway to reach uh, where we are trying to put cultural exchange. Like, for example, when we went to Tanzania, we were supposed to do cultural exchange. So at least meet us halfway so that we can reach places. And then when we get there, we know that we are pushing this idea is going to be planted everywhere. Yeah, as opposed to say, dig into your pockets. I mean, we don't have anything in our pockets, so we have to have this, funding to make us reach where we are trying to plant this seed. So,
Yeah.
not to say we are not doing pro bonos. We are actually doing them, and for us, it's not a problem. But we're trying to plant. We're trying to plant each and everywhere we go.
Do you guys teach music as well? Teach dance and music?
Yeah. Yeah. On my side, I had to go to school actually. After my metric, I didn't have the opportunity to go to university to study further, but I had one opportunity, which is there's a community center. I think they saw me somewhere, then they invited me to come teach their kids. So they have something called they call it SAA, which is it's a weekend school for kids.
Okay.
So I teach percussion, and then I got an opportunity also to learn about creative arts. So we go to school, then we teach. Then there's a subject here at home where most of the teachers don't understand, which includes music, it includes dance, it includes drawing, coloring, and whatsoever. So in that space, so they take us to schools to teach the teachers and the learners how this can be approached. So yeah, we do teach. I think even Vuyo does, right, and also do have his own workshops. Is it every week, twice, Vuyo?
Yeah, no, it's twice. It's twice a week.
He does it for free. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it for free. For now, I'm doing it for free.
Wow.
Because, as I've mentioned earlier, this idea of tap dancing here is still this foreign concept for a lot of people. They still get amazed at what you're doing with your feet. So I'm pushing it for free for the sake of pushing awareness for our people to learn tap dancing. So it's twice a week, but it's slow because it's as I'm saying, it's a foreign concept. So I'm being patient with people. People would come this week, and then next week they won't come, or for a month they won't come. But I don't give up. Even if I'm alone in the class, I'll still push. For the sake of pushing the drive, pushing the momentum until this thing catches fire and we have a lot of tap dancers in here. So we do teach, and I also got an opportunity via Sifiso.
Yeah, I had to call someone, so I called Vuyo to come take this opportunity to also learn how to teach, which it has a certificate after which is recognized by our government, education government. So that they take you guys to school to go teach, and for Vuyo, which is what he does, it's not on textbook, our textbook. So I've been given an opportunity to actually give what you can offer to every school. So yeah, I think from us individually, we learning different things, and we partaking into different things. But at the end, it's still us.
Yeah.
It's still us. As a musician, you can't just rely on yourself. You need to hustle. You need to have a side hustle to keep the life going.
Yeah.
All that.
Feel that.
Yeah.
When you are teaching, say when you went to Tanzania or you went into these schools, do you bring percussion instruments to let the kids try, or do you have like bucket drumming, or do you just the slapping? Like how do you, and then same for Vuyo too, is does he bring tap shoes for people, or do they just use their feet or their boots or their bare feet, or how does that work with in terms of sharing?
Now with Vuyo, I'm gonna speak for him now because I've seen him teach.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen him teach. So you always improvise, but in Tap Shoe, I think he has came with an idea of doing his own shoes. He will go to town, get old shoes, then we convert them into tap.
Oh
So
yeah.
like we take old tins, yes, we cut the tins, then we make two things underneath the shoe, and then yeah, it's easier for that. And then he makes different sizes.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. So as much as we are limited, but you don't have to limit yourself also.
Right.
So yeah, we tried. If we have extra cash and say no, we must go to town now, we get those old shoes, then we convert them into tap dance. Then when it comes to me, well, I think I'm the one who was more fortunate. I have my own instrument, so I buy more drums, even the small ones. When I teach, I take them with me. Then I'll give the kids. Then when they're done, then I'll take them away. Then in terms of teaching, we all started into basics, so that's where you start. But with me, we started with the history of a djembe, and then the basics, how we can play. And sometimes if I'm with Vuyo, I'll do what Vuyo does with feet, then transfer into drums, then we'd create something on the spot. Then the kids, they have the rhythm, they have the choreography and everything. So that's why for us, it's more of a movement. It's more, if one has an opportunity, we'll always have to take one with him.
Yeah.
So like we're pushing, yeah. So it can be an individual. So if you say you're my brother, so you must make sure that I'm with you everywhere you go.
I love
So
it.
yeah, that's what we do most of the time. Even now we're doing a performance. I think last month. I think you guys saw it it was on Instagram and Facebook. It was one of the videos that we watched, and we got an invitation again. The invitation is next year. So after the performance we did, it was a folklore community concert. So these guys, they saw us performing at Black Laguna. It's one of the concerts that happens each and every Thursday. It's in Pretoria. If you're being to Johannesburg, you must know Pretoria. So it's in Pretoria. We were invited there. They saw our video also on social media. They said, guys, we want to lend a hand for you guys to come perform your thing in a bigger stage. With it, it's for free. Like everyone could go there, watch the shows, and we did that performance, and it was the highlight of the day. As you know, us, it's something that's unique. It even shocked me as an individual. I would type, how did you come up with such ideas, such concepts, which makes everyone be amazed of us. With guys, how? And then we say we don't know, but we are here. We also don't know. It was an idea, and the way it was executed, it actually came with magic. You can imagine the tap and percussion. Then you add bass, then you add voices, like melodies and everything. So it becomes magical. Then we will start in a rehearsal, not to want to go home after we did one composition, guys. But how? Say that we're here, so we must move. So what I'm trying to say is, as much as we have limited resources, we don't try to limit ourselves also. And when it comes to teaching, when it comes to composition, as artists, you're the last person to be respected. You have been asked to come play for people who will eat dinner, not even paying too much attention to you. But on this one, that's why we were saying it was more intentional. So when we play, we want you to listen. We don't want you to eat while you hear the background music.
I love how you as the instrumentalist percussionist really speak about taking inspiration from Vuyo as the tap instrumentalist percussionist, and how it's, you really are both there. Like you said, you don't want people to just sit and be eating and be background. You both are, and the triad, the full triad, are all there on the same level, on the same equal playing field. Because a lot of times we think, I know Adam can feel like this at some point, like when you have a dancer step into your band, it's like that becomes like everybody looks at that because it's so visual. But it can be like, well, we're looking at the dancer instead of looking at the whole. But it's really interesting to hear how you speak about Vuyo and how you speak about the triad being all there, all to be visual, but also to be heard and to be seen and to be appreciated all together. It's really cool.
Yeah, not only feeding the ears, also feed your eyes also.
Yeah.
Like you just said now, it's surprising because we always put Vuyo in front because he's our attention grabber. People who never so they don't know what tap dance is, and how we fuse it with the music. It always gives them a surprise because we have to, when we mic, we always mic differently. We need to put our mics down for Vuyo, and people have to see how we dance, how we move through the music.
Right.
So that's why it makes us very, very, very unique. Because you sometimes find people that will play for dancers, they need to dance for music. So, but in our instant, Vuyo needs to be part of the music. So if it's not in the music, then it's incomplete. So yeah, that's why it always drives us. Even though he's in front, but he can't be in the back of us. He needs to be in front every time, so we can able to see him. Because without even seeing him dance, for us we always get lost. If you can't see Vuyo in our music, because he always drives us in whatever we do.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because we count. When we do music, it's all about counting. But it's instant we will change the style of playing. We know we're going to the bridge. Or when we do this style, we know that now the song needs to end or we start over. So that's why it's visual. So we need to look at him while we play. If you close your eyes, the song is gone.
That's so interesting.
Like me, I had to remove this thing of, you know how when you play percussion, you need to listen to yourself when you play. But it's instant, you need to listen to everyone and look.
So it's almost like, in some ways, he's almost like conducting in some way, or leading the group in some way.
In some way, he is leading the group. As much as we can play, we can do the composition. It needs to align with whatever we do as individual. But in this instant, we know that we always love to lead. And he loves to lead. And for us, we can be sitting in a rehearsal space and get confused because we need to learn the step, what it does on the feet. So we need to look at when it turns or when it does a certain step, we know that the music now needs to change. Or we need to move to a second part.
Gotcha.
Even so, we can do the turns. It can be percussion that leads the song. Then they will have to listen to me. But in Vuyo, instead of Vuyo, it's hard for us because we need to learn the dance. Yeah, we don't have to dance, but we must know it.
Yeah.
Right.
Recognize.
So if we are making mistakes, then the song is done. You've killed the whole song because we're waiting. We know that you're doing 3 steps here, then we move to this step, then we move. So you did 5, so we all stand, so we didn't know what to do. So that's why we intentional and we make sure when we do our thing, we need to perfect it. If one song can be rehearsed in a whole week, then we rehearse one song in a whole week. Because now we learn the dance in our minds, in our head. We also tap dancers while we play our own instrument.
Interesting.
I love that.
Interesting.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, guys. Really, really, really appreciate it.
listening to our conversation with Vuyo Mdingi and Sifiso Maseko of the South African band Tapcussionist Triad. You can find out more about their group on the socials at Tapcussionist Triad, and you can find Vuyo on the socials at Tapcussionist and Sifiso on the socials at Master PECS.
If you liked our conversation today, please follow and leave a rating or review wherever you are listening. If you'd like to support our work, you can join us at patreon.com/relativerhythms, where you can gain access to all of our uncut episodes and extra content. Our theme song is For the Love of It by the Adam Price Group,
featuring Emily Jane Acree on foot percussion. Our midroll and outro songs are 2 tracks by Tapcussionist Triad, recorded live at one of their most recent shows.
Don't forget to follow us on all the socials at Relative Rhythms, and feel free to send us a message. Check out our merch on our website, relativerhythms.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode.